Turkey has repeatedly said that it is a shared responsibility to help the world's least developed countries and that peace and security are directly linked to sustainable development. The country has carried out countless projects across several continents as part of its Istanbul Programme of Action, adopted at a UN conference in 2011. One avenue that has allowed Turkey to collaborate with countries needing assistance has been through the UN Technology Bank, which was established in Istanbul in 2018. The UN Technology Bank is dedicated to enhancing the contribution of science, technology, and innovation for sustainable development in the world's 45 least developed countries. Its office in Istanbul was formed to have these nations benefit from Turkish expertise and support in many fields. To achieve that, the UN has collaborated with Turkish institutions, including the country's Science and Research Agency, TUBITAK and TIKA, a government-run aid agency. But now, Turkiye's private sector is getting involved in hopes of lending assistance and expertise to many parts of the world that have often been ignored by larger multinational companies. And for more on this, joining me now from Kocaeli, Turkiye, is Deodat Maharaj. He is a managing director at UN Technology Bank for the least developed countries. Deodat, thank you very much for joining me on Straight Talk. What is the UN Technology Bank looking to achieve when it comes to helping the least developed countries across the world, and what are its main priorities?
Yeah, quite simple. The United Nations Technology Bank for the least developed countries, we have one priority: to leverage science, technology, and innovation to help the world's poorest and most vulnerable countries fast-track their development. And to do that, we provide direct support to 45 least developed countries, 33 of which are in Africa, some are in Asia, the Pacific, and Haiti in the Caribbean. So our mandate is to leverage science, technology, and innovation to help the people from these 45 poorest and most vulnerable countries fast-track their development, creating jobs and opportunities for these people.
So could you explain the close partnership between the UN Tech Bank and Turkiye a little bit?
Yeah. So Turkiye brought together the least developed countries in the year 2011 for a meeting in Istanbul. And the least developed countries themselves recognized that they're being left further and further behind. And they thought that science, technology, and innovation would be a democratizer and help them to fast-track their development. So at that meeting convened in Turkey, one clear outcome was the establishment of a United Nations Technology Bank for the least developed countries. And Turkey has been a fantastic supporter and a champion, as well as a host country for the United Nations Technology Bank for the least developed countries.
But why Gebze has been chosen to host the bank's headquarters?
Yeah, because I never knew much about Gebze. I come from a different part of the world, but this is a fantastic place in terms of having a great technology park, being a hub for innovation, for science, for technology. And I see it every day being here in Gebze at the TUBITAK campus. And also, we have been leveraging the fantastic expertise in some of the institutions here to provide direct support where it matters most on the ground in the least developed countries. So Gebze is the host of the UN Technology Bank for the least developed countries because of the fantastic scientific and innovation and technological capacities. That's one. And we are using this capacity to help make a big difference in the least developed countries, in 33 in Africa and in other places as well.
So could you talk to us about the ongoing project of the Tech Bank in Turkey? I mean, what do they mainly concentrate on?
Yeah, so our projects focus not here in Turkey, but in the 45 least developed countries. And the work that we do analytical and research work to understand what are the technology needs and priorities of these least developed countries. And then we offer solutions that can make a big difference. So for example, with support from the government of Turkey, we have been working in Gambia trying to reduce the post-harvest loss in the cashew nut sector. Agricultural produce in Africa, 30% of the products actually produced, this loss post-harvest. And if we can help reduce post-harvest loss, you make a big difference in terms of foreign exchange earnings, in terms of livelihoods, and more food to build food security. In Bhutan, for example, we implemented a project, Hear, Listen, and Speak, which screened 75,000 Bhutanese children who had hearing deficiency. So we screen these kids, help them to get hearing aids, to get medical treatment, and they are in school now. And the emphasis is using low-cost, high-impact technology that can make a big difference in the lives of people.
Yes, so what does Turkey have to offer when it comes to food production, harvesting, and storage?
Okay, so in the case of the Gambia project, we got expertise from the campus here at TUBITAK with capacities in terms of knowledge of food production systems, storage, and fantastic expertise, I should add, because you all also produce a range of nuts as well here. So there's like direct relevance, and the learning and the technology and the applications are equally valid to a country like the Gambia. But also, it's not only about doing analytical work and understanding the problems in Gambia with respect to post-harvest loss, but it's also bringing people from the sector to Turkey to see the facilities you have, the state-of-the-art facilities, to understand how your production and value chain and systems work. And that makes a big difference because they can see firsthand a country that's doing it and doing it well and making a big difference. And often, and we say seeing is believing. So coming and having that exchange program with Turkey would have a big impact, I would say.
But what does Turkey stand to gain by sharing know-how to developing countries or the least developed countries?
Well, one, what you have to gain is that as an important player and partner of developing countries, Turkey is making a big difference in the lives and livelihoods of people in the countries that are margins in terms of development. So that's one. Secondly, I think by doing this as well, the least developed countries, they know Turkey has been a friend, and a friend who wouldn't just talk the talk, but it's actually demonstrating its commitment to supporting these countries where it matters, on the ground and in the lives of people. And I think that that's the basis for a long-term and enduring partnership based on shared common values and based on mutual respect, and actually making a big difference in the lives of people.
If I'm not mistaken, Turkey's financing was through voluntary contributions to the bank starting from 2017 with a 2 million commitment each year for a 5-year period. And Turkey has also assumed administrative costs as a host country. Why has Turkey undertaken such a responsibility? What's at stake for Ankara?
Yeah, I think that when it's prestigious to start with, to host a United Nations institution. The United Nations Technology Bank for the Least Developed Countries is a cutting-edge institution that can make a big difference. So I think what Turkey is doing is demonstrating its commitment to making a big difference at the country level in the countries that are the clips at the margins in terms of development. These are the 45 least developed countries. We certainly welcome Turkey's contribution and value it because these funds and this commitment, they're being used to make a difference where it really matters on the ground at the country level in the 45 poorest and most vulnerable countries on the planet.
So have rising political risks and ongoing conflicts affected your work so far? And do you expect new countries to join your project?
No, the conflict and tensions they make they always create a challenge for working in the development space. But out of the 45 least developed countries, there are many of those without conflict or without those types of challenges. So we are working and focusing on making a difference in these countries. I was in Ankara as recent as last week, engaging with India, the Netherlands, Norway, a range of countries and partners, and we expect many others to come on board to support the mandate and remit of the United Nations Technology Bank for the Least Developed Countries to help leverage science and technology and innovation to fast track their development. Because at the end of the day, if these countries do well, we all do well.
So you said you're mostly operating at conflict-free countries, but how has the climate change, or let's say climate crisis, impacted countries in the global south? And what kind of solutions are you offering them to unlock their potential?
Yeah, so the climate crisis or the climate emergency, as I say, is causing havoc in developing countries across the global south. So I fully agree with that statement. And therefore, what we need to do is to look at leveraging low cost, high impact technological solutions that can make a massive difference, whether it's from the standpoint of renewables, whether it's from the standpoint of genetics and crop modification to have climate resilient crops such as rice. I think these are all important areas. And what we have been doing at the UN Technology Bank for the Least Developed Countries, we have been doing a lot of analytical work, technology needs assessment, which identifies priorities, including in the climate space, for support where other partners are coming on board to support these countries in this vital area of building climate resilience.
All right, Deodat, unfortunately, we'll have to leave it here. Thank you very much for joining me on Straight Talk. And that's all for this edition of Straight Talk with me, Aisha Subarkat. If you've got any comments, please share them with us on X at Straight Talk TRT. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next time, take care and goodbye.